The Indiana Fever got some really good news today with Caitlin Clark. She is back tomorrow. That is huge for the Fever right now, especially with the fact their schedule down the stretch is not easy. They play the Golden State Valkyries tomorrow, who are battling out with the Fever and the Aces. Now, the Aces just lost to the Liberty tonight, and they're bound for the playoff spot. And it's a huge game for both teams because looking at earlier in the schedule, I just want to see if they played each other. Golden State beat them. So this is huge for tiebreaker purposes because they play Golden State again on the 31st of August. And that is it. So this is a big, big game for the Fever. They're at home. You're going to have Caitlin Clark back in the lineup. So you got to get that W. And then you play Atlanta on Friday. And I know the last time they played Atlanta, they got smoked. They've actually are 1-2 against the Dream this year. So that's not an easy game. But you're at home. The last time you got a W against them was on the road, and you lost a tough one by 1 point. And then you went to Atlanta and just got destroyed. I think Clark wasn't playing. Let me check. Yeah, Clark wasn't playing that game. They're going to need her healthy. And the best version of Caitlin Clark. So we can't have her shooting 39% from the field or 20% from three. That can't happen. If it does, she's got to find a way to make an impact in other ways, which I believe with her playmaking, she can definitely affect the game in other ways. Now, after they play the Dream, they got Dallas on Sunday at home. Again, you never know with those rookies for the Dallas Wings. They've been really phenomenal to watch this season. Then you got to go to Connecticut on the road on the 15th of July and go to the Liberty on July 16th. Not the easiest of schedules, but if they can go 4-1 in these last 5 games, you get to 13-10 for the All-Star break. You can split the matchups with the Liberty because it's going to be in New York back-to-backs. They have a break during the All-Star time. Then you got the Aces on the 24th in your building. They just snapped that 16-game losing streak. And if you have Clark back, she's healthy, she's ramped up. They're building chemistry with Sophie Cunningham, and they're rolling. The Fever are going to be in a good spot to take off in the second half, just like they did last year. They struggled out the gates. This season is a little bit different. They've been hovering around 500. We've seen, Kelsey Mitchell's been really good. Leah Boss has been solid. Ryan Howard was great in the Commissioner's Cup that they won in Minnesota, which was still shocking, but just good for the team camaraderie and the morality of the team. So yeah, this is big. I didn't think she'd be back this soon. I thought that the Fever might have arrested her, and it would have been tough down the stretch. I'm not gonna lie. If Clark wasn't playing these last 5 games, it might have been a little dicey with their record. But seeing her return, let's get back on the roll. Let's see them go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak. Like if they end up winning the rest of the remaining games before the All-Star break, you get the 14-9. Now the expectation might be a little bit too high for that. However, if they end up building that type of momentum, now it's like this team is beginning to click again and starting to roll. Because that would be, let's see, they were 7-8. So if they're 14-9, that is 7 of the last 8, including the Commissioner's Cup. They don't count that towards your record, but that's really 8 of your last 9 games you've won. Again, I'm really curious to see how this all plays out. For Caitlin Clark, I just need her to shoot better from the field. I know she's been struggling, and I hope tomorrow she can get to that 50% or higher, shoot 35, 38% from three, and get this team cooking again because they need her in the lineup. And shout out Carolyn Peck. We're going to find out very soon why the Fever are more dangerous with Caitlin Clark in the lineup than not have her in the lineup. That's going to be something that will never die this year. That take is going to age very badly for Carolyn Peck. And again, this is just humongous news for the Fever. They got the Commissioner's Cup last week. They snapped that losing streak against the Vegas. They just need some continuity and chemistry around their roster, especially when your best player's been in and out of the lineup. It does affect chemistry. So when I saw the news today about Caitlin Clark making her return, I was definitely encouraged because, again, the Fever need to build momentum down the stretch before they head to the All-Star break. And I don't want to see them play slow. When they're playing with pace and Caitlin Clark is generating their offense, they are hard to deal with. And I love Kelsey Mitchell. She's a phenomenal bucket getter. But if she's dribbling the air of the ball, that isn't going to help anybody. Also, let's pay attention to the fourth quarters. The Fever have not been good in those situations. And Caitlin Clark has been part of some bad fourth quarters. So the Fever need to clean that up if they want to be taken serious and get some momentum going. So what I would hope to see happen down the stretch is have a few close games against the Valkyries tomorrow where they win the fourth quarter and they feel good about themselves. They do the same thing against Atlanta Dream on Friday. Now you are starting to turn the page a little bit. Does this mean they're going to be championship contenders? I'm not going to go that far. I still think the Lynx are the best team. Well, actually, the Liberty to me are still the best team. I know they've had their struggles lately, but they're the champs. And then you got the Lynx right behind them. So I don't think they're in that conversation yet. But if you can start building some good habits with your fourth quarter performance, maybe you change the narrative. But it's hard to do that in the middle of the season when teams have had more reps together, they're sharper together. That does matter, in my opinion. With all that being said, I just want Caitlin Clark to play really well down the stretch and get her shooting percentage back up because it's been really shaky. And I think some of that does allude to injury and the continuity that this roster has not been able to build this year because she's been hurt. And that does affect your chemistry, in my opinion. When you have your best player not out there with new pieces on the roster, that can affect momentum, rhythm. So you got to be sharp. The more reps you get together, better you are as basketball players and as a roster. Now, the Fever are resilient. They don't care. They're going to keep fighting. Winning that Commissioner's Cup was really cool to see. Really one of the highlights of this regular season for them. And if Clark can get back to her regular play, shooting, really well from the field at the 35%, 37% from three or higher, and she's dishing out 10, 12 assists a night. Hopefully she can get her turnovers down. I know some of those passes that she makes are not always caught from the players. So sometimes it's on the players, sometimes it's on Caitlin Clark. I hope she can get those turnovers down to 3 a night. If she does that, man, look out for the Indiana Fever. But happy that she's coming back. I just hope the Fever can really build some momentum towards the All-Star break, and we can see them coming out with guns blazing in the second half, and Caitlin Clark starts to really get this team on the map. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the news of Caitlin Clark playing tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.